Wow, Marina is a hard act to follow, I'm telling you. So I'm Jim Lincoln. I am the worship associate this morning. And the service topic today, as I interpret it, resonates with me. And as a one-time fan of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I love the title. It's something that in my current advanced phase of life, I often think about. Earlier in my own life's journey, way back in ancient times when I was young, my choices and my goals seemed cast in stone. Do well in school, get a job, embark on a career, get married and have children. And in those days, most people did. Eventually buy a house, etc. Even my career options felt limited. My father was a UU minister and my mother a religious educator and public school teacher. So preaching and teaching were high on the list of possibilities. I wanted a career, and our parents pushed my sister and me toward careers that helped others, or at the very least didn't harm them. I also wanted to do something in my life that was interesting and fulfilling. I ended up being a college professor, which I felt met most of these criteria. I didn't worry too much about the money side. I figured that would take care of itself. This was the post-war economic boom in the US that lasted until 1970 or so. It was a time of unparalleled prosperity and opportunity, at least for Americans with my demographic profile. Young, white, male, straight. In those days, I was barely aware of the alternatives. Physically able, native-born, reasonably bright, and good at school. So I was definitely a creature of privilege, and confident that I'd fare well in the competition for college, jobs, promotions, and all that. I'd had several major girlfriends in high school, so marriage and children seemed likely to fall in place as well. These youthful expectations I had were, for the most part, realized. It wasn't all a bed of roses, I can tell you, but on balance, I had it pretty good. I assumed all this bounty was my birthright as an American. As a white, middle-class suburban boy, I hadn't had much direct exposure to poverty, bigotry, misogyny, homophobia, and all the other social evils that were very prevalent at the time. I knew that racism was a problem in America, but like other Northerners, I thought it was mostly a Southern Jim Crow thing. Now that I'm old and retired, my perspective on life's journey, not too surprisingly, has changed some. Most of my life encounters and experiences are behind me. I'm pretty content with how it's all gone. As I say, I was privileged, although there were certainly stretches when I worked very hard to succeed. I still have hopes and dreams for the future, but they're pretty scaled down. Staying fit and active, spending time with family, granddaughters in particular, enjoying music, art, and travel, reading widely, and of course, participating in my beloved church community. Like many of you, I'm very anxious about the fragile state of our democracy, but that's too big and scary a can of worms to get into now. When we are young and healthy, the future stretches out before us like an unending yellow brick road. Our ultimate departure from the planet seems so far off that we don't think about it much. Certainly I didn't. If you're on the downslope toward 80, as I am, or like some of our most illustrious members well beyond that, it's a different story. What about the spiritual side of my life's journey? As a pretty committed and engaged UU since I was 5 years old, it's always been a large part of who I am and what I have experienced. I didn't reject or drift away from my religious upbringing, as many have, including, rather sadly, my own kids. I've increasingly embraced it and found support and comfort in that embrace. As we get older and confront our mortality, the importance of the spiritual side of life expands. I don't mean in the traditional Christian sense of being hoisted into heaven or wherever by some judgmental deity at the point that I shuffle off this mortal coil. That's not spirituality in my book, it's superstition. My UU vision of growing spirituality in the years I have remaining is rather one of harmonizing and merging with the earth and the cosmos, and my UU faith especially its more Buddhist and pagan and earth-centered side, assures me that this will be a wondrous thing. I often have religious thoughts of this sort when I'm biking and camping, as I did with the Bid for Love backpack in the immigrant wilderness led 2 weeks ago by Peter Morse. The idea that I will become one with the natural universe makes the loss of my individual conscious identity seem benign and tolerable, if not in some ways liberating. In that spirit of embracing life's journey in all of its fullness, come let us worship together.